Family, what's good? It's your boy Lightbody back again with another edition of the Lightbod Pod. Welcome back to the Light Hub Soul Fam. Got a special show prepared for you today. This one is for the entrepreneurs out there. This is for the label heads, the future CEOs out there. Yes, that's right, Soul Fam. As you can tell by the introduction and the title on this video, we've got Black entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, leader, CEO, community activist, Mill the God from Black Wall Street, Cleveland, Ohio's finest. Mill the God, welcome to the Lightbot Pod, man. How you doing?
Peace, old fam. How you doing?
Excellent, man. Great to have you on the show. As you all know, Mill the God is an entrepreneur, and we about to get into his story and also try to pick his brain and understand and see what we can pull from a man who I'm sure has so many gems for us, for those ones that are looking to start their own labels out there or looking to push their own businesses. I'm sure there's a lot you can pull from this wise uh, leader over here. So, Mill the God, for those who don't know you, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Mill the God, Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I come up in an urban community. I say semi-rough background, um, regular childhood, and what's kind of unique about the journey I'm on now is I was kind of raised pro-Black as a kid. I don't know
Mm.
if in Africa, y'all know about the Nation of Islam.
Nation of
You ever heard of
Islam,
the
yeah,
Nation of Islam?
definitely heard of
Africa.
them.
All right, so I got
Elijah Muhammad.
so I got kind of like background, and when I was a child, my mom used to take me to like the Nation of Islam. So I got like a little bit of background in Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X. I got
Mm.
those. I got that information as a teenager, like a young teenager. So I think that kind of like shaped me for the journey that I'm on today, as far as independence and pro my people, like
Mm.
pro Black, and pushing forward in my community as far as being independent and uplifting my community. And my experiences in life also took me in that direction, from being young and making mistakes and doing some of the wrong things, and then growing older and becoming more mature, and kind of like my mind matching up with the information that I studied or that I learned. So yeah, independence come from like learning about Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, those type of people who Elijah Muhammad, probably the most independent Black man in the history of America. So I kind of like get a mindset from that. And then as I got older, of course I expanded my information. So that's like kind of my, background on who I am.
That's that's a
Yeah,
marvelous
just
origin
a young
story.
man from an urban community.
That's a marvelous
Mm-hmm.
origin story of coming from the bottom and also starting to pick up from your leaders around you and having strong black men around you as figures to look up to. That's really, I'm sure that inspired you a lot. So could you maybe tell me about how the early seeds of entrepreneurship were planted within you, and how the entrepreneur within you was birthed?
Well, I think I was kind of born with it, and I'm gonna say this something that's kind of crazy. Like even when I was a kid, I always like had a problem with authority. Like, and I'm like, I think spiritually I was born an entrepreneur, because like just I can remember going to school and not liking the teachers telling me what to do from as early as a kindergarten. Like I
Mm.
had a smart mouth. Like I would get smart with the teachers. You know what I'm saying? It was just like I just never liked being told what to do. You know what I'm saying? Not from my. I didn't have a problem with my mom telling me what to do, even though, you know what I'm saying, even to a point I didn't like, to a certain extent I didn't like that. But just like from dealing with like organized authority, never really like organized authority. So I just
Mm.
think I had the entrepreneurial spirit. I think I was born with it. I know I remember being a kid, I would sell or trade baseball cards and football cards in school a lot. So I really think I just was born with it. It's always been in my spirit. And I never just like and it was just something about me. I never liked being told what to do and how to do it. I just always wanted to do things on my own. So I always had a problem with authority telling me, limiting me to what the authority wanted me to do. So I honestly believe I was born into it.
That's really remarkable.
And yeah. And I kind of like when I was younger, I went down the illegal entrepreneur road. You know what I'm saying? And then as I got older and mature, I started to learn, constructive ways to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Went down different paths and obviously learned from the ground up from a young age. That's really inspiring, man. Tell me about Black Wall Street Empire. How did that name come about, and what was the origin story of this company, this business you started?
Um, okay. The name of the company comes about from me and two other partners. I actually started Black Wall Street Empire started as a study group. And it was me and a brother named Amin Ra, who's no longer with us. Peace be upon him. And a brother named Pope. So we started a study group to just to learn commerce, commercial law. And that we was looking for a name of the group. And then ideas about branching out into business came after that. But the name of it started out as a study group to educate ourselves and then go out in the community and educate people commercially. So when we was thinking of a name, of course we all are conscious and pro-black. You would call it that, pro-black. So
absolutely.
We was thinking of a name to call the group because we did lectures. We do actually would produce and host lectures, bringing in speakers and also speaking, people in the group speaking as well. So we wanted to name it something. So actually the brother Amin Ra is responsible for the Black Wall Street part of the name because he suggested that should be a part of the name, being that we like educating people commercially to become financially independent is the goal. And becoming financially independent is the goal. And Black Wall Street at a time in America, in American history, in the 1920s, is post-slavery, probably 20 to 30 years out of slavery. It was in Tulsa, in the city called Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was an actual business district called Black Wall Street, where a lot of brothers and sisters had got together and they created an economic financial dynasty there. And it was so powerful. They basically had their own bus stations. They had their own airport. They had all their own businesses, stores. They basically had a city that they controlled economically, and they all supported each other. They built it, and this is 20, 30 years post-slavery. So in American history, Black Wall Street is probably the highest point economically for Blacks post-slavery, for so-called Black people post-slavery in American history. So we use the name Black Wall Street as a big up and a caveat to the actual Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was and then they went through a lot of trauma where they actually went to war with the U.S. government because that's a whole nother story. But they went to war with the U.S. government. The U.S. government actually bombed Black Wall Street. They actually dropped a bomb on Black Wall Street to try to destroy it. So that's where the Black Wall Street name comes from. Then Empire, I put the Empire on the name because I study a lot of African culture and African history. So I know in West Africa, a lot of the far as in more modern, well, not ancient Africa, but more modern times of African history where they had still control their resources and still had a lot of control. You had a lot of empires, a lot of the countries went under the moniker of empire. So you had great places like Songhai, you had Mali, you had Morocco, the Moroccan Empire, the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire. And I had kind of studied on how they had got to the name empire, or how they had created a power source, and it was like tribes and municipalities would come together. And once you get so many municipalities and tribes to come together, that would be what we would call an empire. So I had studied that, and I'm always trying to pay homage to African history, especially at moments in history where we are in power. So I put the empire in the name. So that's where you get Black Wall Street Empire. And the model for Black Wall Street Empire is also kind of like based after the West African model for creating an empire, because it's like several different business ventures, several different business ideas. And then I also work with other entrepreneurs and organizations to try to form what would be what could be today called a new empire.
Oh, that's wonderful. That a lot was spilt over there. I'm glad you got into the history of it. For those who might not know, I particularly have studied some of these concepts and the story of Black Wall Street, and it's really remarkable to see an entrepreneur who's taking these fundamental principles and applying them within his business model, within your structure. And speaking of business model and structure, take me through your business and how it's set up. I notice on your website there's a lot of merchandise, clothing, as well as some what I would call it pro black, or things that appeal to the black woke, or no, let me not use that word, that appeal to more conscious community or more African-based communities, such as black soap. We got the Shea Butters over there, which I might order myself in future. We got the Shea Butters, certain imagery that that is aligned to African pride, etc. So take me through your business structure and what exactly the product line is set up as.
Okay. Well, first I'm gonna go through how I get about the product part of the business, because this I do community activism, I do youth education, then I have products and services. Now, how I get to the products and services, I study a guy named Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson is a black economist. He actually ran the Jimmy Carter. I don't know if you know Jimmy Carter, but in America, it was a Democratic president in the 80s, the mid 80s, called Jimmy Carter. But it's a black man named Dr. Claude Anderson who ran his campaign. And he wrote a book called Power. He wrote a couple of books. He got a book called Powernomics, and he has a book called, two popular books, one called Black Labor, White Wealth. So I read the book Powernomics, and one thing that stood out to me in this book is he said black people should, two things that we should do as entrepreneurs: we should own and control from distribution from production to distribution. We should own and control the businesses in our communities. And another thing he said we should do is create businesses that we have competitive advantages in. Being that it's hard for black business, as a black businessman, because of the circumstances that our people have been put into mentally, and due to oppression, and we still suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. So we mentally not in a state where we can be self-sufficient, but we fighting for self-sufficiency. When you go into business, you have to be kind of you have to really organize the way you go into business and be strategic. So he teaches in that book that we should start businesses that we have competitive advantages in. A competitive advantage would be something that we know most in our community, that we do most in our community. So if you're going to go into business, he teaches in that book that you should probably start there where we have competitive advantages. So that being said, in the urban community, there's product lines that our people particularly just, we purchase a lot.
Absolutely.
We are consumers to certain type of products. Yeah. One of those things would be clothing. So hence I have a clothing line, Boss Life.
Boss
Life.
That's
Boss Life apparel. That's one of one thing come about Boss Life. Everybody can go to the website, blackwallstreetempire.com, and get that. And
be sure to tap in.
And then cologne and perfume. I have a fragrance line And our people, we love to smell great. We love to go out and party. I'm not really like a big advocate. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having fun, but I think in our community, I think we do that too much. But if they're gonna do it and that's something that we support economically, we should be making the money from it. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
our people love to go out, we love to party, and when we do that, we like to look good, which would be clothing, and we like to smell good. So I got cologne, perfume lines. And then, like you said earlier, I got the shea butter line. This is Nubian Queen shea butter. This is a specially formulated shea butter. This is just not like any shea butter. This is actually shea butter. It's African shea butter mixed with mango butter, and it's mixed with essential oils, peppermint essential oil, tea tree essential oils. So it's like a specially formulated shea butter.
It's powerful.
So yeah, we melanated, so we know we got to keep that skin right. We got to keep that right. So yes, we got to spend our money. So we're gonna spend our money on that. We might as well spend it with a Black person, and we might as well own and control those businesses. So I got my own shea butter line. This, like I said, is specially formulated shea butter, particularly for the melanated person. And then I got soap, which everybody in the world, I hope, use soap. I would assume.
Hey man.
I would assume that everybody in the party uses that. And soap is an interesting product. I got two different kinds of soap that I create. I got oatmeal cream soap. So this is oatmeal cream soap. I have different like bars that, specialized bars just for, for aesthetics. But I have oatmeal cream soap, and then I have black soap with charcoal. And then soap is an interesting product. I think soap is a slept on product. A lot of people who go into business, you wouldn't think to create a soap line or something like that. But if you think about it, it's probably the most consumed product in the world, because this is something like your market, when you're dealing with soap, you're not limited to any product that you have. Your market is always going to be limited, because there's always going to be a section of people that don't participate in that particular market. Like urban clothing, you got some people that don't wear urban clothing. Cologne and perfume. Some people that just don't wear cologne and perfume, but it's not a lot of people that don't use this every single day when they wake up. So this is probably the most consumed product on the planet, and it's a real slept on product. And it's very cost effective. The profit margin is good. It's very cost effective. So it's like, you can sell soap and people can support you with that and not spend a lot of money, and you can still get a good profit. So, and us being melanated people, what I'm saying? I like natural products, what I'm saying? Natural is always better. So, I make natural products where it's not going to harm you, and it's going to really enhance your skincare and enhance you as an individual. So we got oatmeal cream soap, which helps to smooth out your skin. And then we got the black soap with charcoal and essential oils that help to clean your pores. So it's like we physically, pushing health at the same time, making money. And like I said, like Claude Anderson say, I'm selling products and services, providing products and services that we should have a competitive advantage in. And I got a purse line too. I didn't say that. I got a Sister 7 purse line. For the sisters out there that love wearing purses. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to go to Gucci. We don't got to do Louis and all that no more. We can create that. We can do that too. So I got the perfume. It's called Sister 7. So I got a purse line, which is the extension to Sister 7, which is Sister 7 purses. And the sisters out there go to the website and purchase those. And these is real quality purses. This is not, a lot of times people say knockoff. Like, these is real quality. Like I got real leather purses. Crocodile leather purses, real leather
quality. So fam, be sure to tap in. I'll be sure to leave links to all of that down below in the description. A man that is really passionate about his product, passionate about his business. Could you tell me about some of the challenges that you face within your business, and how you best find solutions for those who are looking to get into the merchandise and product-based business structure similar to this? Take us through some of your challenges you face in your business.
Well, the biggest challenge always for any entrepreneur would be capital. but especially Black people in America. You know what I'm saying? Most of our people was born behind the 8 ball if you coming from an urban community. So we don't usually have access to the type of capital that other ethnic races have access to. So competing in certain type of business ventures against, especially in our community where we dealing with, like in America, we got like a lot of Indians, a lot of Asians, and a lot of Arabs that come to in our community and start businesses. Yeah, it's harder to compete against them because they have more capital, and anytime you got more capital, you can get a better price point on your products, and you're going to be able to sell for less. And they also have more real estate than us, so it's more convenient for buyers to go to their business than it is for them to support us. So with the internet, that's kind of like changing a little bit, but it still exists. So those are some of the challenges. One of the biggest challenges is the mind state of our people. You know what I'm saying? Because we still don't really have a support each other type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? We still like kind of conditioned to supporting people outside of our community and sometimes believing that because they, look different than us, they have a better product. Unfortunately, a lot of our people was in that mind state. So those are the biggest challenges. Being that I kind of like, I deal with credit. I'm a studier of credit and economics. I kind of like lower that challenge a little bit by me being able to get access to capital through credit investing, but it's still, you know what I'm saying, I still haven't created a situation where I've gotten the capital that I wanted, but I'm working on some things and working with some people to make some bigger moves and change those things. But those are the biggest challenges. We usually in our community get the knowledge late. We usually get educated late to things like this. And it was the same way. Like I got educated late to these things. So one of the biggest things is, as far as like I get a lot of my investment dollars come from credit, and I'm pretty knowledgeable in the credit game. But the problem is, and this is why I work with the youth, and I love to teach this to you. You get educated to credit and ways to access capital. You get educated to that late when you already made mistakes. So you spend a lot of times trying to undo the mistakes that you made when you was younger. And I've had a lot of success. There's still a lot of mistakes that I made when I was younger that I'm undoing. And then you always coming across more and more information as you go. So you're still learning as you go. So that's why I like to try to teach the youth all the things that I'm learning now and all of the mistakes that I made so that they can hopefully avoid that and they can break those chains of poverty in our community. They have another weapon to break those chains of poverty in our community and be better entrepreneurs than even I am. So those are the biggest challenges right there.
Oh man, definitely a lot to take from our discussion over here. I just wanted to trick back into some of the content that you'd consumed or some of the information that you consumed that got you to this point or has taught you some of the lessons and insight in regards to your entrepreneurship journey. Could you maybe take me through your top 3 books that inspired you or gave you the information that got you to be as successful as you are or got you to this level of, because you seem like a well-read guy. Like I can see the books in the background over there. You seem very knowledgeable. So for those listening out there, what are the 3 main pieces of literature they should be tapping into?
That's a good question. First and always is Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. I would suggest every Black person in the world to read that book. The reason why I start with Powernomics is if you ever read that book, it'll change the way you look at the world. He talks about business, right? But he relates it to politics and society. And he tells why it's something that he talks about in the book that stand out to me. It's called ethno irrigation. And he basically breaks down with statistics and his experiences in running governments, how business and control society, how businesses control, how business money control politics. And he break it down in a way where you will understand the social ramifications from and the oppression that we have faced as people, how it relates to the lack of businesses and the lack of controlling business in our community, and how business affects the community too in a positive way. So he break all of that down in Powernomics. He go in a lot of different directions, but that would be the first book. The second book would be it's a book called Business Law and UCC Codes. Business Law and UCC Codes. The reason why I suggest that book is because that will help people learn how to structure businesses the proper way, and it also teaches about contract law, business laws. It goes real in depth into business, period. And I know a lot of people have a lack of knowledge when it comes to commercial law. And like, people know how to sell things, they know how to start a business, they might know about the area of business that they're in, but actual like contracts and commercial law and business terms and the language and the terminology, that book will help people learn that. So that's a very very informative book to read when it comes to business. And the third book would be, this book doesn't even have anything to do with business, but I suggest it for Black people to read, and it like correlate to business because it give you an independent mind state. And that book would be The 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro by somebody named J.A. Rogers. And the reason why I say that book is because he talk about a lot of accomplishments that Blacks have done throughout history, and not just Blacks in America, Blacks all over the world. Like, he talk about Africa, Europe, Asia. He document Black history all over the world from the time civilization began up until probably like the 60s or 70s when the book was written. So that's a book called 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro by J.A. Rogers. And the reason why I recommend that book to all Black people to read for business purposes is because it'll give you an independent mind state, and it'll give you the confidence as a person. It makes you know how special you really are when you read about all the accomplishments that we have accomplished as a people throughout history. It gives you a lot more confidence, and it gives you a better vision on how to go about servicing your community, because they stripped us of a lot of that confidence has been stripped from us because of the history that they taught us, and they taught us that we were less than, when we really not less than. We're real fortunate to be who we are as melanated people.
Oh, spot on right there, man. That last suggestion will definitely do wonders to getting into the psyche and getting us to evolve as well. And speaking of evolution, there's a lot of crazy things happening in the world right now, a lot of chaos. We've got imminent recession, we've got energy crisis, or might as well say that we are in a recession, some people would say. We've got energy crisis over here, we've got cancel culture popping up over here, left, right, and center. A whole lot of things are happening and shaking up this reality. We've got war on the other side of the world. Holy. And my question to you is, if you had a magic wand, or if you could be in a position of power to activate or to initiate change, what are the 3 things you would change about this current world that we are living in?
Man, it's an interesting question. It's interesting that you on the continent right now asking me that, because the first thing that I would do was something. I don't know if you're familiar with Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah, Gaddafi.
Are you familiar with Muammar Gaddafi?
Yeah, Libyan, right?
Libya,
yeah.
Something that he was trying to do, he got killed for this. He was trying to create an African world currency and tie it to the natural resources in Africa.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I would do if I could do this and make things change would be free Africa resources from control of Western powers. So and I know, and you probably know, and China is kind of like coming in now and kind of taking a lot of that. Yeah. That alone right there, it changed the plight of our people, period. Because you're talking about a continent that has enough mineral wealth to sustain itself. And this is just something I'm gonna be real quick. Cell phone, the Congo produced something called cobalt. Are you familiar
Yeah,
with
I'm
that?
familiar. These minerals, man. These minerals
Cobalt,
are
yeah,
essential to this tech.
yeah. Now the Congo is a poor country, as far as the people are very poor,
Hmm.
but they have something, they have a mineral that produces a product, this product right here, that's sold for, this phone right here about $800, $900. And we all know the cell phone prices, you can't get a cell phone, a nice phone for less than about $300-$400 nowadays.
Yeah, facts.
$1 $1 trillion industry. How are the people who control the resources that make this? You can't make this without cobalt. How is that country poor, but these phones is making trillions of dollars all over the world, and they got the minerals that make it. So I would free Africa from Western oppression. That would be the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do is re-educate everybody that look like us to our history and culture, because that would, it would teach us that we something more than what they tell us we are. Maybe we would have the confidence to be together, and like all these other ethnic groups. Like you talked about cancel culture. A lot of cancel culture come from Jewish control of the media. So I would free us of our mental oppression so that we could get together and have that type of power that those people have that stick together. And the last thing
I'm
will
assuming
probably
I'm assuming you in alignment with what has been happening recently with Ye and all of
yeah,
his like
yeah.
his plights and what he's been pushing recently.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
y'all experience cancel culture over there?
Oh man, the Twitter warriors here are extreme, man. Especially in South Africa, since we are more
Mm.
developed and more what can I say, westernized in a way. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so our social media presence, our social media awareness as well, based on our struggle and our very recent, the latest country to be freed essentially, or uh, independent in a way. You know, the whole history of Nelson Mandela, apartheid, etc. So we are very conscious of certain aspects. We are very protective of our people, of our culture. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's certain aspects of like uh, woke LGBTQAI agendas that are emerging. And yeah, no knock to them, for those people who want to live the way they want to live, choose to live. But
Mm-hmm.
these sort of mindsets and these sort of concepts are seeping into our reality, seeping into our
Mm.
uh, culture, and into certain certain ideologies are evolving with time. So the cancel culture does appear on social media with those who are protecting some of these new age rights or some of the new age freedoms. Um, and yeah, a whole lot of things that I can just snowball on and just continue to chat about. But
Mm.
yeah, I guess that's that. But I could tell there was an inkling of a resonance with Ye's rhetoric recently, based on your comment over
Yeah.
there. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, it does get pretty rough out here, for black men. But definitely evolving and changing our mindset and like giving us that reassurance and changing our lens and our eyes for us to see ourselves as like people who are capable first of all, and then
Mm.
restructuring things that we can easily access the ability to create businesses, the ability to create our own empires. Like you said, I'm in alignment with that. I'm
Mm.
sorry to cut you off there. Let's get into your third pick, man.
No, it's
Went on a
cool.
tangent there.
Now I love hearing those things. Matter of fact, my third thing, I'm gonna say this. Since you in South Africa, like I'm kind of like tuned in to what going on there. It would
Mm.
be that Julius Malema. I don't know how you feel about him. I'm sure you know who Julius Malema
Yeah,
is.
super
It
super
would be,
radical. Yeah, nationalist. I love Julius's ideas as well. I've been
yeah.
peeping him. Yeah,
I would do this and make him the president of South Africa. I think that would be a I don't know how you feel about
that's
Julius,
bars.
but
That's
from
bars.
me, when I look at him, you know what I'm saying? I think that if we had leaders like that on the continent, I think that would bring forth about that change. That was the first thing that I said about freeing the mineral wealth from the oppression
Mm,
of the West. Because I listen to Julius, and that's what he talk about. You know what I'm saying? He want
yeah,
freedom, at least from what I see. I don't know how it's viewed, over there, but from over here, when I see it, I hear him talk about freeing, economic independence for the people
absolutely.
in South Africa. So I study leaders like Robert Mugabe and Patrice Lumumba. I don't know if you're familiar with Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah,
And I study all those African leaders and Kwame Nkrumah, Kwame Ture, you know what I'm saying, Jacob Roberts. I'm very studied over the leaders over there. So I think we need some of that blood today, you know what I'm saying, in leadership
man,
on the
that
continent. Because we
absolutely.
need to connect. Those of us over here, we need to connect. Like if we could connect with the continent, and because we got all the technology over here, if we could get the resources and then work together,
Yeah,
that's what Marcus Garvey. I don't know if you're familiar with Marcus Garvey, but that's what he was trying to do. Like that would change. That would change. So I think like if you had a leader like Julius Malema, I think those type of things could take place.
definitely,
But
definitely,
that's
man.
just that might be. I don't know if that's an ignorant point of view because you probably have more of
Yeah, no, it
probably understanding
yeah,
than
no, it
I do. But
resonates. It
that's just the
resonates.
way I see it from over there.
Nah, it
Go ahead.
resonates, and I understand where you're coming from, and from your lens, and definitely his
Mm-hmm.
ideas are radical and extreme, but I feel like they have a place, especially for us to be able to evolve and break from the chains that bind us and bind our
Mm-hmm.
minds and bind us economically and are slowing us down from, yeah, getting what is ours in our own land, like. So yeah,
Right.
I'm about some of the some of the principles of nationalism. Most of them actually. I'm like also trying to take back the power and like basically, yeah, give power back to the people,
Mm-hmm.
economically, socially, all the way through to just, man, in all aspects. There's no way you cannot there's no way you can be pro black and not be pro what Malema's ideas and
Mm-hmm.
concepts are pushing for. So I mean, I'm resonating, and I come from that school of like, I was there when Fees Must Fall was happening, and the push to decolonize the education system, decolonize a lot of these certain principles. Like I was there on the streets, like South Africa was going through a lot of change back then, and
Mm-hmm.
we in the process, we mind you, like we're very young within our democracy stage phase of our freedom. So yeah, man, there's still a lot of things that need to be addressed, and having leaders like that, leaders who are, but obviously there has to be like certain practical ways, certain things that need to be addressed in terms of policy and uh, a constitutional way of doing things. But yeah, I guess that will come in time, and like you said, tapping in with other Africans of the diaspora, other melanated beings in other
Mm-hmm.
continents, sharing knowledge, sharing resources, sharing relationships, and sort of evolving cohesively and in a united front, will definitely spear us forward, man. Sheesh, this conversation got deep, 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 way deeper than I expected. In fact, I knew it was gonna get deep just by the name of your business, man. The name of your company, like uh, Black 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 Empire, Black
Black
Empower.
Wall Street Empire.
Yeah,
Black
exactly.
Wall
Black
Street
Wall
Empire.
Street Empire,
Yeah.
BWE. Soul Family, be sure to
Mm-hmm.
tap in. I'll leave links to all of that down below. Final question, man. What are your tips for aspiring African entrepreneurs and your final words for them for the future?
Um, the internet marketing. Really learn as much as you can about internet marketing because this right here, this technology right here is changing the world. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You could be independent, with social media, websites, apps, and everything. this right here can connect us. This right here can connect us. And don't be scared. No fear. You know what I'm saying? Fear is the biggest weapon of the oppressor. When you let go of fear, you can do anything. And togetherness. We gotta see the power. Power is in unity. Power is in unity. So yeah.
Man, I can't even find one thing I don't resonate with from our conversation over here today. For those who want to follow you, where can they find you? For those who resonate with our message and our discussion over here today, where can they find your work?
blackwallstreetempire.com. All of my products can be purchased right there. blackwallstreetempire.com. My email, I can be emailed from there. I got BWE Media on TikTok, blackwallstreetempire.com _7 on Instagram, and BWE on YouTube. I think it's BWE. I know it's BWE something on YouTube, but if you go to my website, pretty much all my information can be I can be found right there and be contacted right there. And go to that website and shop, man. We got excellent products. Phone number is 877-725-9016. That's 877-725-9016. I got products, services, credit repair, and youth upliftment in the community.
Awesome stuff. So fam, be sure.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
I got a podcast too. That's called Culture and Commerce. It can be found on Anchor or Spotify. Culture and Commerce on Anchor and Spotify.
Be sure to tap in. So family, man, something different from our regular type of content out here, but I figured we'd start evolving, man. And like the man Mill said over here, be fearless and jumping into that bag of unlimited potential. And we're trying new things this year and beyond. So family, this has been another episode of the Lightbod Pod with our guest Mill the God. Be sure to check out his work. Check out our site as well. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to continue to see more of these content. We typically react to music. We discuss conversations regarding the music industry and interview some musicians as well, or people within the industry. But since this is what we're about in the future, and we definitely want to see my people striving and thriving, I figured it would be perfect to have Mill on the show. So with that being said, check out our work. Be sure to find us on Instagram as well. Drop a follow on there. DM us any suggestions for future content and who you'd like us to have next on the show. With that being said, this has been another episode of the Lightbod Pod. I'm your host, the Light Body, signing out. Mill the God. You dig what we did? Peace.
It ain't easy coming straight up from the bottom. Being broke and needy can be needed, ain't an option. Barely sleeping, trying to make sure I see profit. Had to work on me for this.